Well, since you're watching this, there must be a inkling back in your mind that you wanted to write a book, or that you would like to write a book sometime. And I don't call it writing a book. I call it more of putting a book together or building a book, because most of your writings will already exist. Maybe you have a manuscript, or maybe you have articles or chapters probably already written somewhere on your computer. You can gather those and build a book with those, put them in chapters, get a nice cover, a nice title, a nice introduction, tell something about the author, and slide in any significant pictures you might want in there. And or you can do the creation or the typing right on the screen. I'm going to show you some software. It's free. It's fairly easy to operate, to use. There's a learning curve, so you got to play with it maybe 3 times before you can get it. And or you call somebody, or you watch some tutorials on YouTube. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of different software out there that you can that will help you write the book, the editing software. Some of it even takes your manuscript in total, and at the other end out comes a book. Now, I've never done that. It doesn't sound like that would be any fun, but doing the book the way I see it, it is easy. It's very low cost, and I mean, it's like nothing, and it's fun and somewhat rewarding, and you might end up with a nice book. A lot of these books that I've done, and I'll show them to you in a minute, are for the family. Maybe a few if you hope to sell them. They're all going to be for sale. The minute you put them up on the internet at this website, they are for sale. And I think Amazon picks them up and has them for sale. I've never had one of my books sold through Amazon that I know of. But I do it for documentation, maybe get something off your chest. I did one here on sports, and I'll show that to you. I was just aggravated the way they zoom in on everything, all sports events, and never give you a big picture. So I wrote a book, I gave it to a few people, and I sent it to the networks, and I'm sure it didn't do any good, but it got it off my chest. So, or if you want to make a statement or some historical thing you got in your mind, or I use it for preaching to my grandkids. I make a kid for that, or a book for the kids, and I've written some other books, and I'll show them to you. But what this is in total, you go to a website, and the website I use is Blurb, BLURB.com. I'm not pushing Blurb by any means. It's just the first software I ran across, and I've been using it, and I don't want to clutter my mind with trying to learn a different software. So this is good. It's free. So you go to blurb.com, you download their book software, which is Bookright, WRIGHT, Bookright. And I'll show that to you. Once you have that downloaded, you run it, and you end up with an icon on your desktop. You click on the icon, and I'll show you what comes up there, a screen. It says, okay, start a new project, and says pick a title, pick the kind of book you want, soft cover, hard cover, big, little, whatever, and you write a little something about what your book is. And you can change all this later anyway, because as you write the book, this stuff might change. Your title may change, and certainly your description would. But your job basically is to take this software, create a nifty title, make a nice cover, write a nice introduction, decide where you're going to put your pictures or whatnot. You can put your pictures on the cover, on the back of the cover, in the book if you want them. The price varies whether you use a very high-end paper, whether you want a paper that will accept pictures, color pictures, or and the size book. And a hardcover ups the price quite a bit as opposed to a soft cover, and I'll show you what the ones I've done. And I guess now is a good time to do that. This is the first book I did. It's hardcover. It has the dust cover on it. And on the dust cover I put some pictures. That's a picture of one of my grandsons. This is a picture of another grandson. They're working on my Model A. And I just have a couple of Model A's here for the cover. And I call it More Than You Need to Know About Cars. I wrote this after I retired from Chrysler as in the automotive engineering field. And so I had some notes and things, and I just wanted to get them on paper, so I did. And it's not a bad book. It's this book cost I think $15 or $18, something like that. The hardcover ran the price up quite a bit. But a few of these did sell. What you do, I guess I missed that earlier, you use this software and you create your book. Going through it, I said earlier, you pick your title and your size book and so forth. And once you do that, then you start your book. And your pages are along the left side of the screen, your work area is in the center, and all of your tools are along the top. And to prepare for making your book, you need to know where your files are that you're going to use, where your pictures are that you're going to use, in case you want to slide those into your book. Because with this software you can reach out and grab an article and slide it in, download it into your program, and then put it on whatever page you want. In this software you do, if you're going to put a text on a page, you need to have a text box, and that's some of the complications with this software. You put a text box on each page, and now you can put text in. If you want to put a picture on the page or in part of the page, you put a photo box and you slide your picture into that, and then you can move it around and change the sizes of it. The more you get into this, the more interesting it'll become. It'll get a little frustrating when you kind of get lost, because you can't work on a page unless you click on that's the page I'm working on, and then you can work on it. So you have to go back and forth from time to time. During the building of your book, you can click on the upper right part of the screen thing called Preview, and you click on that, and that will show you your book exactly how it's going to be after it's printed. Then to go back to work on it, you go to the bottom on the right and click on Back to Your Project. So you'll get used to all that. But back to my books. The second book I did is a hardcover, kind of big. It's that's me, my dad, and my son. And the Three Jacks. But the name of it is A Bit of the Past, too. It's a second book I've done on the history of our family and stuff. But it's more than history. It's you gather up all the old photographs wherever they may be in your house or in a drawer, and you can add them in. You can add your autobiography in, family pictures. And I used kind of a high-end paper here and in color. And here's some more. So you can gather in everything you wanted to put in about your family, maybe some recipes, whatever it is. And then you just simply print 5 of these or 4 or 6 or whatever it is, and so your members of your family have them. And then here's a soft cover. Now these books are less than $5. About 30 pages, and they're more like $4 really. But that's a soft cover, and I did all mine with economy paper and text only. Now for $1 more a book, you could put color pictures in here. I can put black and white pictures in, or pictures that end up in black and white. But this is the sports book I talked about. And you see what I did for the cover. A patch of grass around a golf ball. That's what the announcers give you on TV, and it really bugs me. The guy hits a good drive. They follow the drive. They follow it down to the ground. They let it bounce. They zoom in on it, and they give you a picture like this, and they say, what a good drive that is. Look at that. And you don't know where the drive is or anything, or where it is relative to the golf course, a sand trap, the other players, anything. And then in other sports, they zoom in on the guy's nostril and his earlobe, and or the mother crying in the stands because her son's injured on the field. They just are in love with their zoom lens, and I am quite critical of how they do that. A baseball game, you see the whole baseball game through a zoom lens, and that's kind of stupid. So I got that one off my chest. I did a kid's book, engineering stuff, and I say if you're the kid who likes to take things apart and put them together and see how they work, this is for you. And I sold a few of those. Most of them I've given them away. I'm into Model A's, so I made one on tips and hints on how to fix a Model A. I did one on Trump last April during the COVID. I call it Trump Explained. And I have some old things I've written about saving our democracy. It's really focused on we need to teach more morality in the schools and stuff. So that's a book I did. I did one on the engineering factory. This was just to document the method Chrysler used to use to get engineers into the company each year. It's a big engineering outfit. They need a lot of engineers every year, and they take them in, put them in a 2-year program, train them. They get a master's degree in automotive engineering, and then they get another crew the next year. This one I wrote when blacks were colored, and I'm from South Louisiana, and when I was growing up, that's long before integration, and my dad's store catered to a lot of black people, and we got to know them, and just some of my experiences I throw in there. This is for the grandkids. I say, so you want to be an engineer? If you really want to be an engineer, this is the kind of stuff you have to know, and I put that in. And then my best book, or my high volume book, is Get a Horse. It's on how to repair a Model A when it stops on you. And this is a small book. I did it in big print and no pictures. And you can keep this right in your antique car, and when it stops, pull it out, and it'll probably fix most anything that goes wrong. And a dealer did pick this up and bought a couple of hundred of those. And the last one I did, I just gathered up all my old writings and I put them in here, how I see things, right or wrong. And I've got all kinds of stuff in there. And so that's the kind of stuff you can make. And again, this is 80 pages, and I think it's still just about $5. So you're not spending any money. You're not obligated to buy anything. When you finish your book and you're proud of it and you proofread it and you keep previewing it and you say, I got a nice book here, then you upload it to Blurb, and it's in their system, and it will stay there for I don't know how many weeks, but several weeks. And your only obligation is to buy one book, and if you don't buy that book, the thing times out and it's gone. When I do a demo book, I upload it, it's there, I just delete it later or let it time out. But if you want it to stay there and you think you might want more books, they recommend you buy one book and see all the surprises you might have on proofreading and so forth. I tend not to do that. I proofread it on my computer and buy 10 at a time. You get a little discount for 10. That's the other thing. Blurb always has a discount going, 20, 25%. And that'll help pay for the shipping. They charge way too much for shipping. You buy a $5 book and they charge $7 to mail it to you. Well, that's why I buy more than one and I wait for the... Now what I'm going to do is turn the camera to the computer and talk about how you download the software, a little bit of how you use it. I'm certainly not an expert, but I know it well enough to build some books. And again, I stress that it is fun to do, and if you really screw it up, you just forget about it. It doesn't go anywhere. There's no obligation. You have spent zero money, and I'm sure everybody's got some writings they have that they're proud of, and you ought to gather them up and put them in a book. You could do a very nice recipe book with pictures of the food and a little write-up on where the recipe came, who grandma had it or what, and or any of your experiences. I really recommend you write a book. And if you're local, you can certainly call me and I'll help you work through it. So I'm going to show you the software, talk about all the tools, and then we're going to build a sample book, a fictitious book. Then we'll upload it and you can see what you have to go through to do it. But I'm sure if you're into computers at all, you are probably able to follow this software and build yourself a nice book. All right, let's go to blurb.com. And this is blurb.com. And I've got a nice big pointer here. And it says start a project. Well, before you do that, go down here to Bookright. So you can see that. Bookright. And download it. And click on that. And then during the download, be sure to mark that you want an icon on your computer, on your desktop. Okay, let's click on the icon, and this is what you get. Now, since I'm signed in, when you go to Blurb, you do want to create an account. Get a user's name and a password so that they know who you are, and give them that information so that when you do upload the book, they know where it's coming from. And this way you can log in and see all of your projects. And the nice thing about this, you can go to another location, use a different computer, and you can get your project onto that computer and work on it. So I go to Michigan and I come down here and I can work on the same book from both locations. When I open this, since I am logged in, it goes to my area with my books, and here are my books. But if you wanted to create a new project, go to New Project, and this is what you'll get the first time you look at the Bookright software. This says Quick Design. I would not recommend that. I'm not sure what that is. I think that's where it automatically puts your pictures in place and builds your book. The Pro Design is what you want, and I'm not sure what wall art is, but let's click on Pro Design, and then Next down here on the right. Now it says, what kind of book do you want? A photo book, a lay flat book, trade book, magazine, or notebooks? I've only used trade books. And then you click on that, it says, what size trade book? 5 by 8, 6 by 9, 8 by 10. And so I'm going the cheap route. I want a small book that I can easily mail to people, and so I do that, click that, and then click next. And now it asks you what kind of paper you want. And I go to economy white, black and white. And what kind of cover? Well, let's go to soft cover. And there's the price of your book, $2.99. Now let's suppose you want to put some color pictures in the book. Let's go to economy color. And now that book costs $1 more. And that's probably worth it if you're going to put some pictures in. I do a lot of books without pictures, so it doesn't matter. Or with a cheaper book, you can put black and white pictures in. So let's stay with that, and then we hit next. Now we need a project title, and we'll put that in. And there's a file name and a location, and you say start the new project. And you'll get this screen, and I would ignore it. It's telling you at this point to select all the photos you might put in your book and gather them together, and just ignore that. And this is your work page. This is where you'll spend all your time. Your book resides over here. These are the pages. This is the cover. This is your work area where you will build your book, and you can type in and whatnot. And these are the tools. You click on that, that shows you the cover. Now we're a soft cover, so this is one we're using, and this is your cover. That's the right, that's the cover, and this is the back of the cover. As far as tools go, you can add pages later. You can color your cover, and we'll do that in a little while. And like I said, you need, let's go to pages. Up here's pages. Now we're operating on all these pages, and they go forever, however many you want. They go down to 20 something, almost 30, and you can add as many as you want. So we click on pages. Now I can work on my pages. Let's go to page 4. And now this is page 4, this is page 5. Page numbers are automatically added. And here you might put an introduction. And the way you would do that, you need a text box. And this big T here is the text container. So you click on that. Now you're able to draw a text container. Now, if you you can start typing. Now that's small type, so let's make it bigger. And you can type in your introduction. And I'm not going to bother trying to type anything. And now let's go to the next page. And you need a text box. So we draw a text box in. And you can type again, if like maybe a table of contents. Now there's another way you can get it. There's layouts up here. You click on that and click on all layouts here, and let's just pick one. And let's go to a different page down here. Let's go to page 6. We don't have a layout there. Now we've got them here. Now let's go to page 8. You've got these layouts that we highlighted. You click on them, and they put it on those 2 pages. And you can do this to all of the ones and on down. And I think if you use the shift control, you can automatically put text boxes on all of your pages. but you'll need the text boxes. And if you'll notice down here, it says text flow. And what that is, if you slide a document in here that's a lot bigger than this page, and most of them will be, in order to get it to the next page, you have to click text flow and then click that page, and the text will flow. And I'll show you how that's done. That's layouts and so forth. Now, if for the text files that you may want to use in your book, you click on this, and that will let you go get your text files from here, this plus. Now the text files have to be in rich text. So if you have something written that's not in rich text, simply save as, and then at the bottom convert it to rich text, because that's what the program likes, and that's easy to do. Okay, so let's go get some text files. And I have them on this Kingston thumb drive. Just some demo stuff that I have. Hold the shift button down, hit all of those, and then go down here and hit open, and they will all download into this software, and there they all are. They reside there. So now those are available to put anything in. Now let's take a biscuit recipe, and you highlight that, pull it down here, put it in there. Now if you don't like the font, certainly that's too small, you can make it bigger just by clicking on it, and here's the field you can increase the font on. That's your working area for this page, and you can change anything you want in here. You can clean it up for your book. Now let's go back to here. That book, that recipe is too big for that page. So you see flow, text flow, you click on that, then you go to the page that you want it to flow to, click on that, and it's there. And that's finished. You might go 3 or 4 pages, depending on the length of your article. Now let's go to another page here, and let's put a photo box in. Now let's take a photo, but I don't have any, so let's go get some. Click on that, and then you click on the plus sign, and here are photos from my thumb drive that I had. And then you click open, and those all download into this software, and there they all are. You got a picture of a napkin holder on a duck, I think, and some flags and whatnot, and my car. And let's take the car, slide that in here. Now you notice this little warning sign up here. You get a lot of those. It will say the resolution is low image resolution, and it'll say that on most pictures. And to see for yourself just how it's going to look, go to preview. That's that upper preview button, and that's what it's going to look like. That's what in fact, is this whole book. This is what your book's going to look like. Now we haven't done the cover yet, but and up here you can go through your various pages, 2, 3, 4. There's that. So, and you can move this. You got to go back down to the lower right and back to projects, and you can move this picture around. You can change it, the size of it, and you can add text in here. So I'll show you that in a moment. Beyond that, you're going to be typing sliding documents in, sliding pictures in, organizing your book, make it pretty or whatnot. Now let's do the cover. You see, we're on pages. Let's go to cover. Now again, here are the pages, and click on this, and that's the cover, and we go to soft cover, and now we need a title. Let's put a text box in there for a title, and we'll say, put the cursor in there, and then call it test book. Test book. Now that's awful small. Well, that's no good, so let's make it big. Make it bigger than that. Okay, we'll make it test book, and it's bolded. We'll do that, and we'll underline it. Do whatever you want, and you can move this around however you want. But let's leave it there. Let's put a text box in for the author. Let's put the author in, and you have to click on that cursor to get it there. And we'll say by my old friend Sam Spade. Tracer of Lost Persons, if you remember. And now we've got that. Well, let's put some color in. You go over here to the upper left, to the little paint bucket, and we can make this book whatever color you want. Let's make it pretty yellow. Now there's your book. Apply that. That's our book. Let's put a napkin holder in here. Okay, he's too big there. We'll put him down there. Now that's a Wahoo Indian, Cleveland Indians logo that I made into a napkin holder. But you can put that. Now let's put a picture on the back. We'll put American flag on the back. And that's rather large. Whoops. I grabbed the wrong one. Gotta grab this one. Make him smaller. Put him in there. Now let's preview this book up here on the upper right. Preview. That's what our cover is going to look like. When you actually print it, that's what you're going to have. And then we turn the page, and maybe this is your introduction. Although, where did we put it? There. Introduction, maybe a table of contents, whatever you like. And there's our biscuit recipe. Now we'll go lower right again, back to our project, and go back to our cover. There it is. And we can still work on it here. Whatever you want. Maybe down here, well, this is a bit small, but you do a little text box down here, and you can put in, put the cursor there, and now you can change the font to whatever you want, and you can type something about the author. It's whatever you want to do. You can be extremely creative in building your book. You can be stupid too. Maybe everybody's not going to like your book, but you'll like it, and that's what counts. And that reminds me of a very good reason to make a book, simply because you want to. You don't have to justify the fact that you're writing a book or you've built a book. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. Now let's call this the sample book that we were going to make, because beyond this it's just writing and typing and proofreading and organizing and make it look good. And you can keep previewing it, and there's the preview. and you can proofread it in this state. And when you're happy with it, you can go back to your project and you upload it up here on the upper right. I want to make sure you see that. Right up here, upload. And now it asks you a few things, and I don't think I'm going to do this. They want a subtitle, the author's name, and a few things, and you keep clicking apply and next, and then it ends up going up to the blurb as your project, and it's there. And let me turn the camera around, and I'll finish telling you what happens to it. Once the book is uploaded, it will give you a series of questions like what we just went over, but it'll say, do you want to sell your book, and or do you want to buy any? And if you set it up to where you're going to sell the book, it will ask you what profit you want to add to. You got a $4 book here, and it'll say how much profit. So you say, well, I'll make $3 a copy if anybody buys it. It will be in the Blurb bookstore, so it is available to the public. I guess you could make it private if you want, but it's pretty self-explanatory what the questions they ask. Then it'll say you want to buy a book and how many, and you want hardcover or softcover. You got to be careful of all that because they'll probably want you to make a hardcover because they cost a lot more. But you watch what you're ordering, and the price will be there. And like I say, I order 10 books after I've proofread them quite a bit. And they show up on your doorstep a few days later,